This is the demo for game 475 milestone 2, which is also the final. So right now on the screen you can see the 20 objects spinning. All of them have texture and the lighting correctly set. There's a huge globe slowly rotating behind, and there's a little green dot at the center of the screen. That is the cursor of my camera. So I define this cursor have the position of where my camera is looking at. So when I'm orbiting around the scene, my camera is going to orbit around the cursor up and down, left and right by pressing R, F, and QE. The arrow key now functions as a way to look around the place in a first person style, and the WASD key is going to move the camera, move the position of the camera in the world. These two are going to affect the position of the cursor, and it's going to be used later in the demo. That's the movement of the camera. Now let's talk about the camera manager I created, so I can switch between. It has camera names, and by pressing 1, 2, 3, 4, I can set the camera as active. The active camera is the camera I'm using right now. Because the camera manager is a synchrotron, it can be accessed anywhere in throughout the engine, and all these functions that change the camera manager is going to affect to the active camera. So by switching the active camera to others, I be able to switch between cameras. So pressing 1, 2, 3, 4, you can see I'm switching between these 4 cameras and changing any one of it. Doesn't affect others, and it's going to be saved for each one in the individual instance, I think. And also I'm able to iterate through the list of cameras by pressing L. This is another way to access them, and this is helpful because the new cameras I'm creating right now, by pressing J, I create a new camera. This camera doesn't have a name as these 4. It's all gonna share the name camera new, and I haven't defined function to access them, so it can only be accessed by pressing L repeatedly. But yeah, now I create several of them. Pressing L, you can see I iterate through all of it. And also, if trying to remove any camera, I can just press K to kill the current camera, and now my active camera is going to switch to the next one available in the list. I can keep killing them until I reach the very next one. Excuse me. The very last one. I will always keep a camera in the scene, so I won't be blind. And oh yeah, I forgot to demo the zooming function. So right now I'm trying to move closer to the cursor by pressing Y. Yes, pressing Y to go closer. U is getting further away. But this is not the zooming function, because this is going to change the camera's position. And since we're using a perspective camera, changing the position is going to affect the scene a little bit. So for example, if we get closer, you see this sphere is no longer blocking this one. But pressing I and O, I'm accessing the zooming function. This one is going to change the field of view of the camera. So by getting the field of view smaller, less things are going to be projected on the screen, so everything is going to be bigger. And that's it for the camera function. And let's move on to the game object manager. The game object manager has a pointer to the selected node. This is functions quite similar to the active camera. So I can change the select game object and then decide what to do with it. So right now I have this for function: add new, remove this, go next and go prev. Go next and go prev is just going to change this selected node to the next and the previous one. It depends on how the iterator goes, because every time in every frame we're trying to update the game object and trying to draw them. We both call the iterator, and so for all nodes, the forward and reverse pointers are set. So I'm not just take that and put it in my function. And by changing the selected node, I'm also going to update the camera manager to set the new target. By setting a new target, the cursor is going to be moved to the new target, and my camera is going to facing that way. So you can see now I'm able to look around, and so I can tell which object I am selecting. So I can decide what to do. By pressing B, I will remove that. By removing it, I will just switch the current selected object to the next one in the list. Or if I'm removing the very last one, it's just going to switch to the previous one. So that's really helpful. And the cursor doesn't stop here. The cursor can also be used to create new object, because now I can move this cursor around by pressing WASD and arrow keys. Now I say I want to create what I want to create. I want to create something right here. Okay, pressing V, a new wireframe cube is going to be created, and change a little bit. I just try to put it on top of it. It's hard to tell the distance, but yeah, close enough. So all the newly created objects is going to be put in the tree, and I can also remove them. So that's pretty much it for the demo. And pressing the ESC, you can see there's no memory leaking, so that is good. And thank you.